You're fishing chironomids and they're not getting needs. It's probably not your cast, it's not your retrieve, it's definitely your fly. Most anglers actually get the depth right, but the color, the size, the shape, and the profile, that's where it all falls apart. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to match your fly to what the trout are feeding on, so your presentation actually gets results. Stick around at this episode of the Stillwater Edge Podcast. Welcome to Stillwater Edge, the ultimate podcast for stillwater fly fishing enthusiasts. I'm your host, Greg Keenan, and in each short, action-packed episode, I'll share expert tips, essential techniques, and clever tricks to help you elevate your stillwater fly fishing game to the next level. I'm your host, Greg Keenan, and today we're going to jump into a super important topic. I'm going to break down how to choose the right chironomid based on color, bead head, and profile, so you can make smart, informed decisions on the water and stop wasting time with flies that don't get eaten. We've all been there before. It's very frustrated. So let's get to it because it's a great episode. All right, guys, number one, when you're going to fish a chironomid, number one, the first thing you've got to think of is that size always wins. Size always wins. Your profile of that chironomid always will win. Doesn't matter if it has 8 segments or 7 segments in the ribbon. The profile is what matters, okay? So when chironomid fishing, size is everything. Trout key in on silhouette. If you're off by a bit, you can be completely ignored. And here's an example. If they're hitting bombers and you're fishing 22s, it's just not going to get noticed. And vice versa, okay? Even if you're fishing 12s, chances are it doesn't get noticed, right? It doesn't stand out. It's not natural. So how do we know what size the trout are wanting of the day? Great question. So I'll say it again and say it right now. Instant feedback of a throat sample is going to give you that instant feedback. That instant feedback when you can match that throat sample to what the fly in your box is that you're going to fish. If you're lucky enough to get a fish. If you're not lucky enough to get a fish, or you just got on the water or whatever's happening, look for shucks. That's your next best clue. Look for shucks. Look for the active hatch. That's why you're fishing chironomids, right? It's a hatch. So look for shucks and say, hey, I'm going to fish that size and make a guess. Some tips for you guys that I got is if you're not getting hits, right? Say you're fishing 14s and you're not getting hits on 14s, size up or size down. Size up or size down. Fish 16s for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Fish for 10, 20 minutes of the same pattern. Right? So if you're confident that it's a black bead-headed chironomid that they're hitting because your buddy just got one on there and that's what they're hitting, or you've seen it or whatever, right? If you're confident about the pattern, change the size. Don't change the fly. Change the size. I mean, when I say don't change the fly, I mean don't change the pattern. Okay? All right. So that is super important. Number one is size, right? Number two, color. Color is key as well. Don't get me wrong. So color matters because it's about what the trout expect in the seasonal changes and what's going on with the water, the temperature, the clarity, the light, everything that's important. So a couple color rules or a color rule guide that I use for my guiding, my own stuff on Stillwater. And I thought about this when I wrote it down. I'm like, here it is, guys. In springtime, black, chromies, any static bags, grays. Those are some of my go-tos, right? Those are some of my go-tos. Anyway, summertime, summertime, naturals will win most of the times. Again, your olives, your greens, your browns, your grays, your black, your blacks. Those natural kind of colors will always win as well. Fall, you're going to look at rust colors, maroons, reds, grays, blacks. Again, we're back to those. You can see the common theme here. So number 3, very important, bead heads. Bead heads in a chironomid. I do not fish chironomids without bead heads, because they actually serve a purpose. They're not just for looks and because it matches the silhouette so amazingly, but bead heads actually control your sink and the visibility of your fly. So again, bead heads, they're not just for the look of the show of the chironomid. They can actually control your sink and the visibility of the fly. So think about it like this. Bead heads aren't just for weight. They influence how fast your fly gets into the zone and how visible it is for feeding trout. Take, for example, right? So if you're choosing bead heads based on fish behavior, think of stuff like this, right? Silver and nickel bead heads mimic that gas bubble of an emerging pupa, which is great for low light conditions. Black or matte black reduce the flash in clear, high pressure waters, ideal for spooky trout and that early season spring, that late cold water kind of dark black chironomid that we all know, right? No bead, man, all the power to you. I'd probably fish that on a naked line. I'm not a no bead fisher. So tungsten burst brass. Now this is what's important. This is what I want to get down. So tungsten, so here's bottom lake. Tungsten's going to sink like a rock. Brass is going to allow for a slower descent. So if the fisher, you're fishing 12 feet and the fish are at 12 feet on the bottom, tungsten is what you want. If the fish are suspended anywhere between 6 to 12 feet, anywhere in that water column, you can fish a brass bead, which will bring it down slower, more controlled, and you have the opportunity a lot more to pick up a fish on the descend. So you're going to cover you're going to cover 6 more feet of that water column, allowing you to get a fish on the drop, which is just as cool, right? As opposed to just the static hang at the 12, where the tungsten is probably going to just, right? So keep that in mind as well. So that allows that. So when it's like, when you have a wide range, changing that bead can actually do that. Especially if it's black and you have, you know, a black brass versus a black tungsten. So keep that in mind. It really, really is important. So next, I'm not a tire, but a couple key points again, and this is called chironomid realism. This is point number 4. Okay. So after size, color, and movement, realism is important as well. But most anglers that tie actually, a lot of them overdo it. But here's some stuff that I want you to think and focus on, right? Is a slimmer profile, especially on pressured lakes. Less is best. I like a slim chironomid. I do not really like those fat ones. I like a slim chironomid. Ribbing, fine wire, flash, all that sort of stuff. It's great for adding segmentation in chironomids. Again, don't overdo it. Right? I mean, don't get me started about ribbing, but yeah, gills, sparse gills. I only fish chironomids with sparse gills because that can be overdone. And it's just a turnoff. It's not natural. Fish don't, when they're super selective, that's the stuff that can turn it off, right? Flash, it's great in stained water, but too much flash will blow up in shitty conditions and fish will just turn away and not ignore that fly. So now that I've talked about all those 5 key points, part 5 is let's put this all together and let's talk about how to know what chironomid to tie on. Here's 5 quick steps. Number 1, I want you to look for the shucks and the clues on the surface, right? That is going to be your biggest clue right there, as well as matching your size first. So you found the shucks. I want you to match the size to those shucks first. If you can use the throat pump, use the pump, man. Match that to the color, match that to the size. That's the biggest factor right there, right? And the ribbing of it as well, of course, because you'll see it if it's red or if it's silver. Like, it's so critical, the feedback, right? It's pure intel. That's what my note says here. I'm like looking, I'm like trying to spit that out. Number 4 is adjust for conditions. So again, like if knowing what the conditions are, you're going to want to tie on a fly based on those conditions. So clear water, you might want duller flies or a matte beaded fly. Dirty water, you might want some flashier ribs, right? Bolder colors, right? Deep fish. What do you think you're going to use? We're going to use that tungsten bead. We're going to want to drop that chironomid down. If they're down 28 feet, we need that tungsten bead. That probably going to be a black chironomid, whatever it is. It's going to be a tungsten bead, dropping that down. So that's how you're going to know what kind of chironomid fly to tie on based on where the fish are. This is going to give you a lot of clues. Right? We can't put it all, like we're putting it all together. What we can't do is I'm not there on the lake with you to tell you, but these clues that I'm giving you are absolutely gold mines here, guys, so you can do that. And what I want you to do is fish each fly for 15, 20 minutes. If you're not getting anything in that fly, if you're certain about the color and the segmentation and the bead head and everything like that, but you're not getting hits on that fly, switch up, switch down. So if you're fishing a 14, go a 12 or go a 16. Try that for, again, another 10 to 15, 20 minutes of each size. That should help you as well. So, guys, there's a lot to cover and it's a lot of technical. It's going to bring you up as an angler in this episode when fishing chironomids, because chironomid fishing is really critical. It's really key. These are super, super important aspects, but these are how you're going to get those high number days that you always hear anglers on Stillwater talking about those 40, 50, 60 fish days. These are those little tricks, Okay, so remember this, guys. Here's my outro. So trout feeding on chironomids aren't just random. They're focused on a very specific meal. And if your imitation doesn't match what you're eating, you're just wasting your time casting blind. All right, guys, remember this first, and that's going to be size, color, profile, sink rate, everything like that. It all matters. Also, if you like free gear, check this out, guys. I have a newsletter that's out, and if you subscribe to my newsletter, you're always entered in. Every month I give away gear. So if you're subscribed to my newsletter, you're automatically entered. You unsubscribe, you're not entered anymore. I give away the exact same gear that I use in my boat for my guiding trips. I give away guiding trips. I give away so much because I want to make sure that you guys are getting this. But it's not just about the gear giveaway. I also want to point out this, guys. I also give you value. Every month I have a free PDF that's going to give you tips, tricks, hints, everything, checklists, everything that I got that I can give you from my brain and my time to make sure that you're a better Stillwater angler. Because that's my passion, is making sure that you guys are so successful on the water that you're actually Stillwater legends for somebody. So let's do this. Subscribe to my newsletter. I got a link probably in my Instagram bio. Check it out, Stillwater Edge. You guys know where I am. You find it, subscribe to it, stay with it. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the show. I can't thank you enough. Let's make this baby grow and get you guys out on the lake more, catching more fish. As always, I will see you on the water.